Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of You Ought to Know Live, seen and heard live every Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on YouAutoKnowLive.com, part of the Hangout10.com network. And I'm not just saying that because Craig Shipp is with us. Every week, we say we're part of the Hangout10.com network. Hey, it's a pleasure having you guys all here. Hopefully you're watching this live. If not, we'd love to have you join us next week on Tuesday night. But those of you that are joining us live, it's great to have you this evening. I have a number of my friends with us tonight. We have Dave Windward from Jasper Engines. We have Mike Lambert from the Shine Shop and Craig Shipp from Frederick.com and also CraigShipp.com with us tonight, talking about cars, talking about driving cars, talking about everything having to do with Google Hangouts, too. We've got it all covered this evening. I'm Dave Serio, your host, and I host a radio program in the Baltimore area and also Frederick, Maryland area. The show is called You Ought to Know. It's heard live every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. until noon on DaveSerio.com. The first hour is in a Baltimore radio station, Q1370, from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., That's Q1370 AM in Baltimore. And they also simulcast on an FM station in Harford County and also White Marsh, Maryland, 99.9 FM in White Marsh and Harford County. And then from 8 to 10, the show is aired on AM 680 WCBM, the 50,000-watt power station in Baltimore. From 10 to 11, we take a break. And from 11 to 12, we get back on the air with Free Talk 930 WFMD in Frederick. All 4 hours can be seen and heard at DaveSerio.com. Let's go to the show guest we have today. Dave Windward from Jasper Engines is our first guest up. Good to have you here, Mr. Dave.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good being back.
Yes, sir. We missed you the last couple weeks. Know you've been doing Jasper things the last couple weeks, huh?
Yes, it's been very, very busy. The combination of the heat, plus, you know, we're still cleaning up after that long winter, and it just rolled right into summer. I don't think there's a spring in Maryland anymore. It's just, you know, you get like 2 days and then you're done.
I think that's about it.
So now we got people overheating transmissions. They're pulling their trailers to wherever, and things are busy again.
Very good. Thank heavens you got into the automatic transmission business when you guys did, because you weren't always in transmissions, were you?
No, I think about in 1957 is when we first started doing transmissions, and one of the big announcements it's been about a month and a half ago, we acquired another, it was an empty warehouse on the other side of where the Jasper plant is. It used to be Kimball Furniture, but the plant's been vacant for years, so we recently moved our whole transmission business or production over to that warehouse, and we're hiring 250 more people just for transmissions. So that market is huge, and if you own an independent shop and you're not into the transmission replacements, there's a big opportunity for you.
And the great thing is, just a reminder about everybody about Jasper Engines and Transmissions, you're associate owned, so 100% associate owned, and that's a great thing too, because when you know they're hiring 250 more people, that means that you are really doing a lot of good for the area of Jasper, Indiana, but also the employees can benefit from that directly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, you went on a little ride, we heard, on Father's Day. Your wife,
wonderful wife.
Yes,
yeah,
your wonderful wife. Saying it very loudly in the house, aren't you?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, I got a surprise on Father's Day. I was drug out of bed pretty early in the morning, and went north on 95, and she wouldn't tell me where we were going, and we went to an empty baseball stadium, the Aberdeen Ironbirds, which is a beautiful baseball stadium, top class, awesome, with a huge parking lot, and all I saw were a bunch of orange cones set up, and we drove through this parking lot, and she's looking around, and then she pulls up next to a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. It was a Ferrari Mondeo. I don't know how to pronounce it. Mondeo.
Okay. Mondeo, I believe. Yes.
A Lamborghini Gallardo. And I got to choose which one I wanted to take through a slalom course on the parking lot. So I choose the Lamborghini, and it was a blast.
Fantastic. So you have some video from that, I believe?
Yeah, I just try to pull it up. I wasn't even thinking about showing that, but I'll see if I can play it because it was only 4 laps. So and you'll notice in the video the instructor is not even wearing a helmet, which is absolutely insane. He doesn't know anyone driving these vehicles, any of their driving skills. He's just kind of going around saying, "Hey, turn left, turn right," and then he just says go. And there's light poles all through the parking lot, and apparently a couple of weeks before, someone had taken the whole front end out of one of these Lamborghinis, and they make you sign a waiver saying that, hey, any damage is your own personal responsibility. So
good luck calling your insurance company with that one, saying, I just happen to have been driving a Lamborghini and wrecked it. So
yeah, they're like, where did you get that? So,
all right, well, let's try to get the video up if you can. That'd be great.
Okay.
Da 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 da. There we go.
So let me pause it there. I'm trying to see where we're at. Okay, this is
was this Lamborghini Gallardo Spider, or was it just a T-top?
It was a Spider. Yeah, it was convertible, and they actually mounted the GoPro on a suction cup. There's a little windshield or back windshield that kind of slides up. So yeah, this is the straightaway, but I think this is just the first lap, so this is not that fast. But that's about 85 miles an hour in a parking lot. It's a little choppy there.
Wow. And you're right. He is crazy for not wearing a helmet.
Yeah, absolutely.
In an open cockpit car.
Yeah.
Because these things, the wrong
I'll see
guy
if I
behind
can
the wheel.
fast forward a little bit. Now this is where you have to slow down because this is where all the people are. Now this is the straightaway.
Yeah.
Now you see his hand, brake, brake, brake. And if you kept going straight, you were right out on Interstate 95, right over the hill.
That wouldn't have been a bad deal. I would have tried that.
But yeah, it was a neat vehicle. I mean, it had the paddle shifters. When I first got in, I was looking for the clutch. And he says, "Are you crazy?" He goes, "You really think we bring manual shift transmissions out to let you guys drive them?" He said, "We put clutches in them every day."
That's for sure. And there are unbelievably expensive clutches.
Yeah, that's about a $170,000 car.
Yes.
Now, right here's a downshift.
Yep. Take a little bit of time getting used to the paddle shifters?
Well, you really only needed to be in about second gear.
Yeah, really. First and second
about it. Probably do well over 100 in second, I imagine. So you weren't. First gear was. I don't think they wanted it in first gear because you might have lost some traction and maybe slid around. And,
right.
But, yeah, it was 2 minutes of fun.
Fantastic. Well, good job, sir. Good job. Very nice. Very nice. You have a contest for us this evening also?
I do.
Okay. We're going to come back to you for that. But congratulations. Happy Father's Day to you. Belated, of course, but we're glad you had a good Father's Day, and your wife did a great job doing that.
Yeah. I had a blast, an absolute blast.
All right. Well, good to have you. We're going to go with Mr. Craig Shipp. Mike, hang in there just one moment. I'll be right with you. Craig Shipp from CraigShipp.com and Frederick.com. Good to have you back, Craig.
Howdy. It is good to be back.
Good. It's been a while since we've seen you, and I know you live in beautiful downtown Thurmont, Maryland, which is just a gorgeous area of the country. And you're also now going to be a Google photographer, correct?
Yes, they call it a Google Trusted Photographer.
Okay.
And I've passed my test, and I'm doing my test shoot, and I'll hopefully be doing some commercial shoots starting next week.
Very good. Very good. That sounds great. Well, congratulations to you, and I know that's going to work out well for you. So tell us what's been going on in the Craig Shipp life recently.
Well, that's the biggest thing, and let me just explain for those that don't know how that works. When you search on Google and a Google business listing comes up, and I think they're calling it Google Business Listings now. They keep every other week they change the name of that. Okay. But basically, it shows the business, and that is tied to a Google Plus page for your business. And anybody that has a business should go in and search on Google and make sure that it is linked to a Google Plus page and that all of that is functioning properly. Because if it's not, you can then claim it, and you can make sure that it is functioning properly.
Okay.
And so that it'll show the outside of your business, and it'll show, the information about your business, and you can upload your own photos and so forth. But in order to have a little thing that says see inside and let people click and go inside your business and look around, do a virtual tour if you will, you need to have what's called a Google Trusted Photographer come out and shoot those panorama photos and upload those and connect those to your account and do all of that behind the scenes stuff so that all that will work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the part that you need the Google Trusted Photographer for, to have your Google Plus page and to be up on Google Plus as a Google business listing and all that. You can do all that yourself.
Right.
And that's all free. But to give them the virtual tour, then that's where you need the photographer. And one thing that's kind of cool is that makes your listing stand out more because it has that option. And they kind of highlight that on the right on searches. So at least now in the early days where most businesses don't have that, it's going to make businesses that do have it stand out.
Well, just to let you know, if you do have time this weekend or next week, I definitely can work it out to get the time together to do our business here. So just let me know when you're ready, and we'll get things all squared away at Vehicle Service Plus.
Yeah, we'll shoot for next week.
Okay.
Hopefully, middle of the week we can figure something out on a day. Maybe I'll get there right around closing time or a little before, and we can do it after you close up, and
that'd be great.
And do it right. It'll
Very
be
good.
fun.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on your found success with that. I know Frederick.com is doing very well, and folks can go there for information of what's going on in the Frederick area. July 4th, always a big day in the Frederick area. A lot of history there. What's special for you on July 4th?
Well, the big Baker Park celebration, a lot of things going on there, but then the Barbara Fritchie Classic motorcycle race, which is one of the longest running flat track races in the country, if not the longest running. It's been running for over 100 years.
Wow.
That's on the same day. That's July 4th as well.
100 years, these guys have got to be tired by now.
Yeah. So I'll be bouncing back and forth between those two events. And you'll recall the last couple of years I've gotten photos of the gentleman that rides with one arm.
Yes.
And he rides competitively.
Mm-hmm.
He's only got one arm, and the motorcycle he rides only has one handlebar off the one side. He doesn't need the one on the other side. So he saves a little
an
weight.
easier gig for him on the weekends. During his daily job during the week, he's a paper hanger.
There you go. That's right. That's even harder. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get letters about that. I'm sure we'll get letters about that. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. But anyway, yes, very, very good. Well, that's interesting, and you're going to have both of those up on the videos probably pretty soon after the 4th of July, because I know you get some great videos and great photographs from that.
I will do my best, and if folks want to see what those events are like and want to see what the previous years have been like, just search July 4th on Frederick.com, and you can see the previous years and see if it's worth your time to come out.
Fantastic. Well, hang in there, Craig. We're going to be back with you in just a few moments and talk a little bit more with you. But we're going to go to our friend, Mr. Mike Lambert from the Shine Shop. Good evening, Mr. Mike.
Good evening, Dave. How are we?
Great. We had a great time Saturday at the Hunt Valley Horsepower event, and thanks for going to lunch with us afterwards. You and Lena, we had a great time. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the cars that were there, and the event actually itself was for Mothers Against Drunk Drivers.
Yeah, they did. They were kind of tied in with it. It was a sort of a special event that Will does. I think he does 3 or 4 a year, but I'm going to guess there was probably 600-700 cars there. I
would think so.
A little bit of everything, from the high-end exotics down to the daily drivers, the Volkswagens and things like that. A lot of I saw a couple of real nice Ferraris and a lot of Porsche this year. For some reason, there was a ton of 911s there this year.
It must have been that Porsche Club maybe having a little get-together before they went to another show or something.
I think so, because, yeah, it was an awful lot of those there. And then a lot of hot rods. Some real nice street rods were there.
Very nice. And your black Challenger was there. That was a hit. A lot of people walking around that and seeing how deep the paint looked in that car for a factory car. It's incredible. So you were talking to folks about your business, the Shine Shop, but also about the C-Quartz. And my car was there, which of course has the C-Quartz, and a lot of people were asking about that. So it was a great afternoon to talk, a great morning, should I say, to talk to people.
Yeah, I did. I actually had a gentleman I met over there called me this afternoon. He bought a brand new Porsche Cayman. He wants to bring that in. So
great.
So we got one customer out of it, so that's always a good thing.
Very good. My Viper Club, we had a get together on Sunday at Friendly Farms Restaurant in Upperco. and then we went for an hour ride throughout northern Baltimore County. Came back to my house, and we just had some dessert and talked and something like that. And a couple of the guys there are definitely interested in the C-Quartz also, seeing what it did for not only the new Viper, but also the 2003. So I think you get some business from that too, because the cars just look great. There's no doubt about it.
I appreciate that.
We had, for the first time, I think this is very rare in Viper world, but we had 12 cars, which is not unusual, but we had most of the 12 biggest variety of Vipers I've ever seen in one place. Wow. Not only did we have all 5 generations shown, generations being like 92 through 95, 96 through 2002, and 2003 through 2007, and 2008, and then the 5th generation now, which is the new cars, 2013 and 14. We had all 5 generations shown, but we also had some of the biggest variety in colors. Normally, when you get Vipers together, it's red, black, some yellow. That's about it. We had an orange car. We had my Striker red vehicle. We had blue. We had red. We had yellow. We had white. And we also had a number of different stripe packages that you don't see. But what was the neatest one, we had a 2008 orange, and that's really rare. So we had some really very, very unique cars at the show. It was a good time.
Good. Glad it was a good time.
Yes, sir. Weather was beautiful also.
Dave, I have a quick question for both you and Michael. I guess we can start with Michael. On this paint treatment that we're talking about, how much improvement over the factory paint do you see? So if you take your car as an example and you take it right off the showroom, and let's assume that the dealer didn't mess it up. Let's assume it came through okay, right? How much improvement is there when you do your treatment to it?
Oh, I'm going to say you'll notice 90% difference in the depth of the paint and the shine of the paint.
So it's a huge difference.
Oh yeah, and if you have metallic, it just really makes the metallic stand out. It's like putting a magnifying glass on your paint and really looking at it.
Wow. Yeah.
And one thing I will add also, not only does it really bring the paint out, okay, which it does, of course, but Mike has the expertise to, even if the dealer did get a hold of it, that his job before he does the coating is to get that car to 95+% right, so that any imperfections that are in there are out. So when you do put the coating on, it just brings out the shine and not the imperfections.
Yeah, that's the whole trick of it, is getting it right before you put it on. It's like anything else, the preparations takes more time and more energy than actual putting the product on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Very good. So, Michael, what have you worked on recently? You've got, for example,
I have some pictures.
Yeah, I know you had. You had a Ford
pictures.
You had a Ford GT in there on Sunday, and this gentleman, we're just going to say this gentleman paid over $300,000 for this car. So it's amazing how these cars.
I thought you were going to say $300,000 for the paint work.
No. This is a friend of Dave's, as a matter of fact. Very nice people. This is I believe it's a 2010. This is a 911 GT3, which is one of the last generations that they actually put a 6-speed transmission in, and it's a really, really nice car. It doesn't have all the electronic digital dash and all that kind of stuff. It's still like a cool sports car.
Neat.
And that's just the reflection we got out of the hood from it.
That's beautiful.
Let me see. Okay, this is what we had Sunday.
Woo!
Rare color combination.
Is that blue or black?
It's blue with white stripes.
That's nice.
The only one that's more rare is silver with black stripes.
No, that's because it's ugly.
Our local car came from Westminster.
Uh-huh.
And it has 3,000 miles on it. It's a 2006.
Yes, sir. They only made them 2005 and 6. Yep.
Yeah, it's really a nice car. It's just a real nice car.
Wow, is that a Highlander? I'm just kidding.
There's this is a Porsche that was Porsche certified, bought from Chicago at a tremendous discount. We found that about 65% of the car had been repainted.
Wow.
So the gentleman's having discussions with Porsche right now.
I'm sure he is.
That's the reflection of my house in the hood.
That's one of the advantages of taking your vehicle to Mike. after you buy it brand new is if there are any hidden surprise like that, they won't hide from Mike.
And then that's what we worked on today.
Yeah, that's pretty. What year is that? A 2008?
2008 ACR Viper.
Right.
723 horsepower to the tires.
Wow.
And just the gentleman bought it for his track car because he enjoys driving on a track, and he doesn't want to kill his McLaren.
Well, I hope he doesn't kill his Viper either. But I'll tell you how fast that car really is. 723 horsepower to the rear wheels, and that stripe used to be down the center of the car.
It was interesting when I picked it up from the man. He said, "You probably won't have to get out of second gear." He says their gears are real tall, so, and he was right. 45 mile an hour in second gear doing 1,500 RPM.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it doesn't really ride that bad. It's a little stiffer than yours is, Dave, but it's got all that race car stuff on it.
Now, what did he have done to it to get 723 to the rear wheels? Do you know?
They I was told this car came from Texas about 3 days ago. He bought it down there, and he had it shipped to somebody up here that works on Vipers, who you probably know, but I can't think of the name.
Okay.
But they changed the total exhaust system, new headers, new the exhaust all the way back, and did a whole bunch of software updates to the computer.
To the engine. Man, that's unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. That's a lot.
I'll have some more pictures of it next week when I get it all out tomorrow, and I'll show you under the hood and everything. So.
All right. Give out your contact information, sir. I know you've got your website right there on the screen. Give out your phone number and let people give you a call if they like.
The phone number is 410-833-1632, and you can call about anything. I've had lots of people call from the radio show just asking questions and things. And then I actually had a lady here from the Mount Airy area today that listens to your Frederick show, I would imagine.
Okay.
She brought down her Jag and her Aston Martin for me to look at. So.
Are you going to be doing either one of their cars?
She already has appointments.
Hey, fantastic. Very good.
She likes the British stuff. She has 6 British cars, and she's building a 40 by 60 climate-controlled garage for him. So.
Oh, man. Make sure you get her number and keep it, because I may need to call her.
Very, very nice people. Very nice people.
Anybody with a 40 by 60 climate-controlled garage is going to be a friend of mine.
That's what I told her.
I need a home for the Chrysler Maserati this winter.
If they've got a high access door, I may need to put my bus in there.
There you go. There you go. Sounds good. All right, Mike. Well, thank you very much for being here tonight, buddy. Don't go anywhere. We are going to return, okay?
All righty. I appreciate it.
All right. Let's go back to Mr. Dave Winward from Jasper Engines and Transmissions. Dave, you've got a contest for us this evening.
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. And I wanted to share just one quick funny story. Greg Shipp was talking about the motorcycle racing. And
yes.
Years ago, I used to race mountain bikes, and before that, I had all kinds of motorcycles, the sport bikes, and so I had this old mountain bike, and I thought it'd be fun a few weeks ago that if I bolted a little 2-stroke engine to this mountain bike, it would be a lot of fun. So I did, and it was real fast, and I wrecked it. And so about 2 weeks ago, pretty much my whole right side of my body, you see my arm.
Man.
Was from, I broke a rib, and I cracked my knee pretty good, but
we're laughing with you.
No, we're not. We're laughing at him. What an ass.
And don't underestimate the power of a small 2-stroke engine, because I
guess you did.
Well, I wasn't paying attention,
yes.
And I basically just ran into a curb, and I had it up to 40 miles an hour, which is pretty fast on a bicycle.
Yes.
But it's a pretty neat kick.
Is that experiment done?
What's that?
Is that experiment done?
No. I put it all back together. Had to order some new parts. I'm just getting going. I'd like to see 45 out of it.
There you go. Very good.
But anyway, yeah, I do have a contest now. The last contest was I'll bring up the picture.
Okay.
It was a Name That Tool contest.
Right.
And it was a unique device with a funny-looking squiggly end on it. And let me see if I can bring up a picture here.
Okay.
That video will probably start playing. Yeah, let's get that off.
Get that off. We've seen those two heads before.
Yeah, so here's my picture. And what this is, it's an induction heating device. And it uses high-frequency radio waves to induce heat in any metal that contains iron, and it's got a button on it, so you can take that coil and put it over a bolt, and it'll heat that bolt up cherry red in just a matter of seconds. And we actually use this technology in our own remanufacturing process. Let me see if I can bring up. There's a picture of that. Now that is a connecting rod.
Right.
If you see the coils around the outside, we have it on a timer, so it heats up the end of that connecting rod just hot enough to swell it. So when we stick that connecting rod in the piston and push the piston wrist pin through, and then when it cools down, it beats having to use an arbor press and press it into shape where you can end up bending the rod and things like that.
Right.
So that's an induction heating device.
Right. Who won that, by the way?
Our friend Ken.
Okay.
He pretty much gets them all. He's got like every giveaway I ever got, and so I said, Ken, you're not getting anything this time, but he's fine with that. So, I have one more disclaimer.
Okay.
We will ship internationally, but if you are an international viewer, you will have to pay shippings, because we sent a T-shirt to Australia, and I want to get a picture of our friend in Australia with that T-shirt, so I'm gonna email him. Yeah.
I think for $15 shipping, you should at least get a picture of him wearing it.
Oh, absolutely, and I don't
have him come in the hangout wearing it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
We should.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But
all right. So what do you have for us this week?
Okay, my next, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. So let me see if I can find this. Instead of doing a picture, I'm actually going to show a small video clip of an actual machine we use at Jasper. So whoever can name this machine is going to win one of these awesome summertime hats.
And by the way, thingamajig and whatchamacallit don't count.
Yeah. So let's see.
Now that is a thingamajig.
So I'll show it one more time. So we'll pause it there. So it's not really operating right now, but that's the and then I think I can.
Okay.
Let me get this back here. So yeah, name that.
This could be a challenge.
Yeah.
So go through all the Jasper videos and find out what it is.
So yeah, exactly. Go to JasperEngines.com, look through all the videos, and
Dave won't mind giving you a hat away if you go through and watch all the videos and find that out. Right?
Absolutely, that's great. That's great. Great marketing. So there's the hat.
First correct. Yeah.
I don't have these camo hats, but I do have these black hats. So.
All right. The first correct answer that gets emailed to jasperman73@gmail.com wins the Jasper hat. So very nice. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Be back with you in just a few moments. Back to Mr. Craig Shipp. You're going to be out and about July 4th. The weekend, though, the Saturday and Sunday, not much going on in the Frederick area?
Well, Friday's the big day with 4th of July, and so I don't know if I'm going to be covering any events Saturday or Sunday. I'm sure there will be still events, but I'll be literally out all day covering those two events, and then I'll be editing probably until 3 in the morning, so I'll probably take it easy on Saturday. I'll probably call into your show. But I did want to say before it slips my mind, I have a Jasper remanufactured Cat 3208 turbo diesel in my bus, and it works great. I've had the bus for 8 years, and it had already been put in before I bought it, and so it's probably 10 years or so ago that it was done by Jasper. Mm-hmm. And it starts up, and it'll sit for 3 or 4 months sometimes at a time, and it just fires right up as soon as I hit that key.
Fantastic.
So they do some fantastic work.
Yes, they do.
On big stuff like that.
And even the little stuff like 4-cylinders and V6s and V8s. They do some excellent stuff. And I think one other thing we need to point out about Jasper is that they also will do custom work. A lot of people don't think companies that large can do that. But if you have a classic car or you have a specific engine that you want to keep, yet that it has failed, you can send that engine to them and give them an idea of what specs you want. The specs can be increased, horsepower, things like that, and they can build a custom work for you. So even a
That's
large
really
company
cool.
like Jasper can do that. That's good.
Now, how much more would that cost to have custom work done versus the standard? Do we
I would
know?
say I'm going to say most of the time probably about $1,000 on like a V8 engine, like a performance. Would you say that's about right, Dave?
Well, it's definitely on a case-by-case basis because
Right.
what happens is, say you have a 1968 Dodge something or other with a Hemi in it, and it's all matching numbers. So we'll say, well, we'll give you a roundabout figure, and
Right.
then we want to get that engine into our possession so we can analyze it because we don't know the condition of it. We don't know if it's got a cracked block, cracked heads. So we'll take it apart, we'll look at it, and give you an exact estimate. At that point, if you say, hey, that's too much money, we'll put it back together for you and ship it back to you for free. And
Wow.
and we'll offer that service because we want to be fair with our estimates. And one of the benefits of our production facility is a lot of times these local machine shops, a lot of them do great jobs, but when it comes to a full custom remanufacture of a classic engine, sometimes it could take 6 months, 8 months. You never know when you're going to get it back. So we can say, hey, we're going to have this engine back to you in 3 weeks. And if
Wow.
that's the time frame, that's when it's going to be back. So,
Now,
if it's going to take a month because we have to find certain castings, we're going to let you know.
what if it does have a cracked block? Can you fix that?
It all depends. Some of these blocks are so valuable because of it's the matching numbers for the vehicle, and this might be something that's going to end up at Barrett Jackson and go for a couple $100,000. You have to maintain that block. So if we have to fix it, if anybody can fix it, we can fix it. So if it's fixable, we can do it. If it's something that's going to go in an application to where it really doesn't matter, and we think that the crack will affect the integrity of the block, we can then find a different casting for you. Because sometimes it's just easier to find a different casting than try to repair what you already have, unless you have to have that casting.
So, and if you have to have it, then could you give us an example of a procedure you would use to actually fix a cracked block?
Yeah, there's cast iron. Really, in order to weld cast iron, the iron has to be heated up to several hundred degrees. It might even be 700. I'm not an expert on it, but it's basically cherry red, and then they have to, and that's a slow process. And then they have to weld it with a nickel rod, and then they have to, and that's a hand weld, and then they have to reduce the heat. I think it's about 10 degrees every 15, 20 minutes to where it's on a timer, so it really cools down slow so it doesn't warp and do things like that. And then once that, so you realistically can't take an entire block and do that. So there are other methods. One of them would be, it's called a pin and stitch. Basically, you have a crack, say the crack is this big, and you have you drill a hole, and then it's like a little set pin that you pound in with a hammer, and then you drill, it's a little jig, you drill another hole that cuts that pin in half and overlaps it with the next pin. So it kind of stitches all these pins together, and then it's ground down, and that's actually a really good fix. The problem is to have someone sit there and do that, it may take hours to fix a crack that's 3 inches long. So when you're paying someone, what they need to be paid to have that skill, sometimes it might be easier just to find a whole nother block. But there's different possibilities.
But it's good to know that in a situation where they want to keep that block, you can do it.
Yeah, we absolutely can.
Wow.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you, Craig. I appreciate you being part of the show tonight. It's been a while since we've seen you. And get in touch with me in a couple days or week, whatever the case may be. We'll work it out for the shop, and the price you mentioned is fine. We can do that. Okay?
All righty. We'll do
Sounds
it.
good. Dave Winward, thank you very much. JasperMan73@gmail.com is the email address. So if you know the name of that piece of equipment that Jasper Engines uses, give him an email. First correct answer wins the hat. As I said, we did find out a way you can do it. If you're interested, go to JasperEngines.com and start watching some videos, and it'll be in there somewhere, okay?
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Mike Lambert from the Shine Shop. Fantastic job as always, sir. Thank you for some of the pictures of the beautiful cars that you've been okay to do. What do you have scheduled to do in the next couple of days?
Let's see. Tomorrow I have an Escalade to do.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife's boss's truck, whatever that would be.
Okay.
And I think I'm on Friday.
You know, the Escalade, you got to get really nice and clean for the guy who's going to steal it in the next couple of days.
That's exactly right. Well, we aim to please.
That's the most stolen vehicle truck is the Escalade.
And I don't know why.
Well, they figured out a way to steal them, and that's what they do. They have no ingenuity.
Well, they could pick something better. I just think it's a very expensive Suburban.
Well, thank you, Mike, for being with us this evening, guys.
No problem. Glad to be here.
All right. For behalf of Mike Lambert from the Shine Shop at 410-833-1632, Dave Winward from Jasper Engines, and that is jasperengines.com, and Craig Shipp from frederick.com, which I highly recommend going to visit right now. That way you'll get a chance to see all the goings-on in Frederick over the next couple days so you don't miss anything. And Craig also has craigship.com and plenty of other websites. But craigship.com is spelled CraigShipp.com. I'm Dave Serio from daveserio.com. Also, YouAutoKnowLive.com. And even SeriousSportsCars.com. But don't forget, VehicleServicePlus.com, my repair facility in Bel Air. Have yourself a great evening. Thank you very much for joining us. If you've been watching this on archive, we'd love to have you join us next Tuesday evening live at 7 o'clock, and that is on YouAutoKnowLive.com, part of the Hangout10.com network. For Dave Serio, Mike Lambert, Dave Winward, and Craig Shipp, have yourself a great evening. July 4th, have a happy and safe July 4th, and we'll see you next Tuesday evening. Bye-bye now.